Hello, my name is Aleah Guzman. I'm a visual artist born and raised in San Antonio, and this is Una Plática.
Una Plática.
Una Plática.
Es una plática.
Say plática.
Una Plática. Una Plática.
I'd say my first inspiration came from my grandpa, who was also a talented artist. I remember when I was little, he would cut out the comic strips for me in the newspaper and give them to me, and I just fell in love with the characters and the storytelling in the comics. My favorite were Garfield and the Peanuts, and that's just something we bonded over, and that's what really started making me draw as a child. But later in life, I would say I found inspiration when I took an art class at UTSA, and being in that studio surrounded by artists, it just really inspired me because some of them had already made art their career, and so that opened my eyes to the opportunity that could be a possibility for me, and so that inspired me. I've been creating art since I was about 5 years old. Any art supplies I could get my hands on, I knew I loved to create, and making something out of nothing. Art was always a constant in my life. I did art all throughout high school, but I really started taking it more seriously in 2023, and I just really allowed myself that year to explore and be more vulnerable in my art, and trying to find more about myself and showing that through my artwork. So yeah. Yes, I consider myself a Chicana artist because I once saw a quote that said, "You exist because of what came before you." And that's something I carry with me. I feel like my culture runs through everything that I do. I was inspired by the Chicano art movement when I was learning more about my grandparents' lives. My grandpa was working in the fields by age 6. My grandmother left middle school to help support her family in the fields. They were picking cotton, potatoes, onions. This was in the late 50s, early 60s, just a few years before Cesar Chavez and Dolores Huerta founded the NFWA. So you can imagine the struggle and the working conditions they endured. So I just want to help keep their legacy alive through my work. So when I learned about the Chicano art movement, I was really inspired by artists of the time like Judy Baca and Frank Romero, how they turned stories of struggle into beauty and pride, and that's something I wanted to do with my artwork. Something powerful and representative of where I came from. Where I come from, there's a lot of struggle, but there's also a lot of resilience, and that's what I like to portray in my work. Yes, I think it's important to have Centro Cultural Aztlán in the community because now more than ever, it's so important to support the arts, and they give emerging artists like me an opportunity to share our work and share our stories. My favorite program that Central puts on is the superhero exhibition of all the children's artwork, because for a lot of those kids, that's their first time exhibiting. And I know how special it is to see your artwork displayed for the first time. And so they're definitely doing their part in inspiring the next generation of artists. My mom is my superhero. She's somebody that completely nurtured my talent from the very beginning. She took me to free art workshops when I was a kid. She hung my first paintings. She believed in me when I couldn't believe in myself. She spoke life into my dreams, and anyone in the creative field knows how easy it is to slip into imposter syndrome and question your work. But my mom has always been somebody to bring me back down to earth and reassure me that my art matters. My parents are there at every exhibition night, and I couldn't do it without them. Their support means everything to me, and they're a huge reason why I stay so motivated. When people see my art, I want it to feel familiar. I want them to be able to connect to it on a personal level. I want my community to feel represented through it in a way that's beautiful and respectful. And I think that's the impact I'm trying to make, is to create artwork that reminds people that their stories are worth telling and our culture is worth representing through art. This piece is titled More Than Pickers, Dreamers, and it's inspired by my grandparents and their stories growing up. They were all very young children when they began working in the fields, and I just wanted to tell their story through my eyes and in color. This piece is titled Palatero, and it's inspired by all the hardworking people who are street workers, and they're just big parts of my community. I connect them with memories being a child and running out there trying to get an ice cream, me and my siblings. So I really wanted to portray this piece in vibrant colors. It's inspired by the pop art movement, and I just thought it was a beautiful tribute to my side of town. This piece is actually the second part in a series dedicated to the south side of San Antonio. It's inspired by a lot of the places I've seen growing up, the people that surround my community, and it's just a way for me to connect with my community in a way that they can feel represented through and identify with it.